say YouTube. You know what happens when you have so many social media platforms. I'm not saying that to brag neither, but here I am. It's been, I think, almost a year and a half since I went live on like the Facebook page manager thing. I am on page manager right now. I prefer page manager because it lets me do more things opposed to the regular Facebook app, which is why when you see me on my original Facebook page, it's blacked out and it tells you, and it redirects you back to this page because I just like page manager better. Yes, I'm going live, and I hope that everyone on that side of the camera can see what's going on, because I really don't want to have to do this again. Oh, that's terrible. Well, what I'm saying is I woke up this morning, and you know, as usual I get my coffee and such, and my husband and I watch TV. They were talking about the school shootings and such. You know, it started yesterday morning as well. I was getting my little one ready for school, and then they're talking about it this morning. But really sparked me to want to come up here and talk is because when they interviewed the parents, a lot of them that they interviewed, from what I saw, what they were saying is just that, oh, we didn't know, or I wish we did this, or when my daughter told me something, I wish I, you know, took it more serious. And that's what really fueled this whole thing of me coming up here, is because all of the parents most of them were saying that, wow, I wish we took action. They told me this years ago, months ago, XYZ ago. And it's like, well, if you knew, what made you just sweep it under the rug then? I'm thinking maybe this wouldn't have happened at all, or maybe not as bad, if the parents who were informed by their own children that something was fishy about this particular kid. I'm thinking that can you turn it down, please? I'm getting feedback from your end. Thank you. But that's what it is. It's ridiculous, because I really think that this could have been prevented completely, or it wouldn't have been as bad. I do feel sorry for everybody who was involved, not only with this situation, but with all the previous situations of the school shootings that happened way before all of this. It don't make sense to me. And as far as the Me Too movement, I'm not really going to get into details with that, but I do have the right to say how I feel, long as it's in good taste, my opinion. As far as the Me Too movement, I wanted to talk about that as well, because once again, if you look back on the videos, it's always the parents crying, saying, I didn't know, or I thought, or I had no idea. I'm like, you're dealing with children, like, they're young. It is your prerogative to see what this man is doing at these exercise places. So what I'm saying is, I really believe a lot of this stuff would not have happened if the parents really were more involved in their children's lives. So the Me Too movement that's going on, it started like last year, it's going on till now. And this school shooting stuff, what it's boiling back down to is us meaning the ones who are parents now. I know when kids get a certain age, they are grown in your eyes, but by law, they're still not. Even if you think so, you have to be responsible and kind of dig into their lives and see what's going on. And if they don't like it, tough cookie. If they really hate it, they can go live somewhere else. But in the house that the kids are staying in, you have to make it your business to see what's going on in the school, because it's not the same anymore. I'm not losing hope or anything, but it's not as fun as it used to be, because you want to tell your kid to go have fun and go play and hang out with your kids and stuff, but at the same time, you got to give them a drill sergeant course to say, remember what you got to do if your school goes on lockdown. Go hide under a desk. Don't try to be a hero. Go hide here. Wait for the police to come, but make sure it's the real police and not somebody who rented a police uniform pretending to be a police and you run out and still get killed. It's just, you want your children to be children. You don't want to have to, at such a young age, say I love you, go have fun, learn, forget about those kids who may not want to be there for the same reason as you, who are a distraction. You just want to hug them and kiss them and say, do that, and you know that they'll be okay. And usually when kids were in trouble, the secretary would always call, and it was always something minor, like a nosebleed, or how kids have an accident and wet their pants, something like that, or so-and-so's not feeling well, things of that nature. Those were the only phone calls you would really expect when your kid was in school. It was always along something mild. Maybe they would get in the fight, that's cool too, but usually at the end of the day, the fight wasn't as big as how it can be now. It could be a fight because kids were picking on them and they got tired of the bully. Even so, I would take those kind of problems any day over to what our kids are going through it now. You gotta just tell them if you see somebody talking about shooting people all the time, and it's just not fun. It's just not fun anymore. And that's all I can say. It's terrible out here. So we've got the Me Too thing that's going on, and we've got this school shooting thing that's going on. Parents, just be parents. You gotta kind of get into your kids' business and see what's going on. You have to try a little harder. Now, please, there are good parents out there, so of course it's not going to you, but however, I might be saying something that'll spark your interest. And the ones who do have children and are, disciplining them with a looser hand, please be aware that at the end of the day, they are minors. So if anything were to happen, people will come back and look at you. You can't push all the blame for what a child's done, even shooting kids and stuff, on them. You can't put that heavy burden on that child, because at the end of the day, it's up to you to assess the situation, to see and acknowledge and then admit that your kid or kids may have something going on upstairs. It's nothing wrong with that. Finding out that there's something wrong with your kid mentally is great, because then you'll know what to do afterwards, instead of just shoving it off and saying, I don't want to deal with it, or she'll outgrow it, or you can't ignore stuff like that, because it has a big effect. Now just think, all this time went by, everybody thinking stuff is cool because parents decided to just sweep things under the woods. The kid's growing up, and look what happened now. Not only did the kid who's shooting affect his own family, he affected like 17 other kids' lives. In addition to that, they had friends and all this stuff in the neighborhood. Now it's all on the news, and people don't want their business out there on the news like that. Parents, be parents. You have to be detectives sometimes. It's okay. You're not going against your child, and it's not even really that you don't trust them. It's because you have seniority over them. You've seen some things. You may be more experienced. So even though they say they may be okay, it's okay to snoop once in a while to see. But just go about it in a respectful way, because they are their own person and they do need space at times too. But if you give them too much space, that'll give them too much speculation to do things that are not cool, by getting advice from YouTube and other social media friends. They would start getting the wrong advice. It's okay to be your friend with your kid, but not to the point where you're compromising, setting down strong parental roles and such. It's cool to hang up with your kid. How else are you going to have fun and get to know them, or let the kid get to know exactly how cool you were when you were their age? You don't never want to lose that, neither. Well, but parents, is really up to you. You can't shove all the responsibility on the kid when you see the aftermath of a situation. Shame on you. I'm not perfect neither. When I see things going on in my child's world, I do the best I can to get the best result. Not for me, but for the child. A lot of things, unfortunately, I feel about raising children have not been taught. honestly, from the parent. And I feel that it should have been their responsibility to teach the good, the bads, the uglies about having children, aside the fact of them being an income tax bonus. Because if you really care about your children, you're going to feel this heavy burden naturally of the things that your children are facing. And it sucks, but it's nice being a parent. But at the same time, if you really care for your children, as a parent, you are going to acknowledge and accept this weight that will always be with you. It hurts because it's like, what else can you do when you do send your kid off to school? Pray, for your religious people, you pray and you do what you can. Every religion prays, whatever religion you believe in. I'm not trying to get all Jesus said and this. No, it's not about that. It's just whatever faith you believe in and what's getting you through at this point. Do what you got to do to pray over your kids, talk to them, send them on your way. As long as you know that you did the best you could, that's all we can say. I do miss the days of the nosy neighbors where, the neighbors did watch over the kids at least when they saw them outside, or if they were at the bus stop watching the children. A lot of that is gone now. We've got nosy neighbors now, but they're being nosy for all the wrong reasons. Want to see what you're wearing, who coming in and out of your house, how many kids you got. People are being nosy neighbors for the wrong reason, just to be gossiping. They're not doing it in the love thy neighbor type of way anymore. For the people who have children, it is scary. It's okay to admit that. It's nothing wrong with that. This is a brand new responsibility, and it is scary, but it's fun at the same time. But just know that because you feel this way, you're not a bad parent. There will be moments when you really don't know what to do, because raising the kid is something new. Don't feel guilty. Go find someone that you trust to give you the good guidance. Maybe your friends that you hang around may not have children, so I advise you not to ask them what to do, because they really may not know what the F to do. You have to ask someone else. Having the children, you do lose some of your freedoms, but it's not like that. It's more of a responsible thing. When you have a child, you want to be responsible. I'm hoping, people. So that means you have to put aside certain things so you can focus on that child, so they won't grow up to be what we're seeing today, which is like that kid who's shooting up the school, or unfortunately those boys and girls who are part of the Me Too movement. It shouldn't have taken them 35 years to be able to have the courage to confess to their parents that something was wrong. I can't get that out of my head to understand that. As far as the Me Too movement, I'm moving back to that. You see how the distance was between when the kids were first sexually assaulted? They were like 7, maybe less, 5, 7, 12, 13, 14, 15. But now they're in their 20s and such, and they're just now talking about it. And at the end of the day, the parents were still saying they didn't know. Had they known, there was one parent saying he just went off the word of another parent that guy was a good coach. Okay, fine and dandy, you went off the word, but this is a little bit different. You can go off a word of a friend if you say that, oh yeah, that's a nice windbreaker, it will keep you warm for mountain climbing. Okay, I'll take your word for that. But even so, when it comes to gymnastics and cheerleading or any type of physical sport where there is going to be a man present or a woman present, even though everybody is saying that he or she is good, when it comes to things like that, you still have to check yourself, because that means that coach will have to physically put their hands on that kid to help them stretch and stuff. You just have to vibe things out. You just can't go on a wing and a prayer because the masses say that particular person is good. You have to, as a parent, do some investigation. Or if you both are working, your husband is working and you are working, and you're son or daughter is in sports or the gym class thingy that they're doing, you have to make sure you find some adult figure that can still go and govern them and have that type of presence there. Don't just leave them there. Don't just send them there, because anything can happen. That's all I'm saying. It just makes it so much easier for that person to prey on the weak when the parents leave their kids like that. So at the end of the day, parents, if you don't want this heavy responsibility of being a parent, it's nothing wrong with that. If you don't want to do it anymore, you're not a loser for admitting that. If you feel that someone else should watch your children because you did not realize how bad it was going to be, or you realized it's just not what you thought it was going to be, it's okay. I would rather anybody any day to admit that than to raise the kids and they're going to be screwed up in the head based on your half-assedness of raising the kid because you don't want them. So a wise parent will admit that they can't do it and they don't want to anymore, and have some type of intervention and see where someone else can step in and help. I'd rather anybody do that any day opposed to just raising them because it's the right thing to do. If you have that attitude while your kids are growing up, they're gonna feel it and they're not gonna like you. And that's not cool neither. Just step up to the plate. Stop worrying about what everybody else is gonna say, because that type of influence sucks too. I can tell you that right now. I made, I think, a 6-part YouTube video about the power of influence, and I was coming from me growing up, how authority figures like such as adults, my aunts and uncles and parents and stuff, how they suggested things in a way that I should be doing or shouldn't be doing, but the way they said it, it was like if I didn't do it, they were going to hate me forever, or if I didn't do it, people were going to talk about them because their kids are acting crazy. You can't come from that type of place. It's disgusting, you know. It's not about you. It's about what you can do to help that child. Because when they grow up, you'll be able to see exactly how well of a job you did. If your kid is running around here going crazy, thanks mom, thanks dad. All that blame don't go on that kid. A lot of it will go on to you, even if that kid is grown. A lot of that blame still lies on you until you decide to solve it or admit it or own your faults too. I could go on and on with this, but the Me Too movement and the school shootings all resides in the fact of parents not being parents anymore. They're too busy trying to chase the dollar. We all need money, yeah. But do you really need name brand everything to survive? Do you really need a freaking Escalade? Do you need a Cadillac? Do you need all these name brand things I don't know how to pronounce and could care less about? Do you really need that big old house? Do you really need all that stuff? You have to really see what you're waking up for every day. What's your drive? If your only drive is to be successful, to make everybody at your high school reunion feel bad, shame on you. If you're waking up and your only motive at the end of the day is to make people on Facebook or social media feel all some type of way because you fronting that you balling and you got it like that, shame on you, because your life amounts to nothing if every day you wake up and you just want to make people feel bad. Don't wake up